Good afternoon, doctor. How are you?
الحمد لله.
Assignment 3 ايه اخبارها؟
بكرة إن شاء الله هي والبروجكت إن شاء الله.
ايه ده البروجكت هينزل بكره مع الاساينمنت زي الفل.
آه.
واحنا we're gonna start يعني giving you the names of the groups بكره او النهارده او
أبعت هتكلم يعني خلينا when
اوكي
everybody
انت
joins يعني.
yeah.
اه يا دكتور.
Good evening. Thank you for joining. We'll start in 3 minutes, inshallah. طيب tell more people to join inshallah. Let me clarify the project thing. Yeah. So so basically so basically I will yes, Ghada, you want to say something?
دكتور لو سمحت، هو حضرتك كنت قايل ان ينفع نشتغل من سيكشنز ثانيه. بس دكتور هويدا بعتت لهم ميل النهارده وقالت لهم ان يعني ان هم هيبقوا على السيكشن، يعني على السيكشن بتاعتهم بس.
ده حصل
فانا
برضه.
فانا كنت كونت جروب بس مع يعني مع من السيكشن التاني، ودلوقتي خلاص هم هيشتغلوا لوحدهم. فانا لحد دلوقتي ما كونتش جروب، وتقريبا معظم الناس هنا كونت جروبس يعني.
طيب basically I talked to Dr. Huwaida at the time of the exam, and she told me that
دكتور we can't hear you.
حضرتك فجأة قطعت، مش عارف أكتب. دكتور
هو الدكتور لاست كونكشن اي جس هيطلع ويدخل تاني.
طيب من أولها كده. طيب يب.
do you hear me يا جماعة؟
يس يا دكتور.
Yes, now you're back in.
Okay. I was talking that I talked to Dr. Huwaida, I believe on Saturday, and she told me that it's okay to join her section. I don't know if she changed her mind or not, but anyways, I agreed with Dr. Huwaida today over WhatsApp that we have to talk to each other today. So when we talk, so I'll let you know about this group issue. Okay.
Okay.
What else do you have as questions?
Doctor, I'm not sure if this was asked, but when are the midterms grade going to be posted?
I guess give me a week time, yani, to correct because I was a little bit busy by forming the project and I am done. Then tomorrow you will have basically the project and assignment 3, and then inshallah in the weekend I'll be correcting what I can from the midterm. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. From my side, I will send you tomorrow an Excel sheet. I will send you tomorrow an Excel sheet about the names of the class, and you can put who is your groups, more or less. Inshallah, on Thursday, we will finalize the group thing together in class. For people that they don't have a group, we will form groups together and finalize this matter. So if you don't have a group, so this is not the end of the world. Yeah. Okay. This is number one. Number two, currently I finalized the project. I finalized the project ideas, or the project ideas. I finalized them. So they are basically two ideas. One is very similar to Expedia, to cheap flights. So it's basically an application from where you can book a flight or you can book a hotel. Definitely, there are lots of bonuses in the project. However, they're not so easy bonuses actually. And they need somehow lots of work to be done. Yeah. And that's why the bonuses. Yeah. Uh, and the other project idea is very similar to Uber, where you can actually reserve a car, and you can. I don't know if you know it or not. It's not now available, but there was something called Uber Eat, and you can order from certain restaurants, and then a bike, yani under the brand of Uber, will be delivering the food for you. So basically, it's an application that is similar to Uber and Uber Eats, and you're going to choose from either idea, either Uber or Expedia or trip reservation application. Yeah, and they are of equal difficulty. So choose whatever you feel you like it. Yeah. Okay. This
طب
is
دكتور هو هيكون موبايل ابلكيشن ولا ويب سايت؟
لا mobile application ولا website. It's an application built using Qt. Yeah. So it's basically like PowerPoint. So it's a desktop application. Yeah. Uh, but you give me an
طب
idea. You give me an idea for a bonus. So I'll check with Dr. Aya. She's delivering the lab, whether she intends to put to cover website development inside the lab or not. So in case she will, I will give you an option to make it as a website. Yeah.
طب حضرتك هتنزل الديتيلز دي على بلاك بورد صح؟
على كل حتة، على بلاك بورد وعلى دروب بوكس وعلى الواتساب، على كل حتة في الدنيا يعني.
اوكي تمام. ثانك يو يا دكتور.
اوكي يا غادة. Okay, any question?
Doctor, I have a question.
Yeah, go on.
So yeah, is one of those projects with you and the other with Professor Huwaida, or both of them are with you?
No. What do you mean by it? Well, I am the author of the two projects actually, and so far I agreed with Dr. Huwaida that she will give them to their sections, to her sections as well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
What else? Any further question? Okay. And I don't have to repeat that the project is carrying a very significant grade, and I repeat again and again, other than it's carrying a very significant grade, it is also if you solve the project, then you're guaranteeing, inshallah, a really good grade in this course. Yeah. So it covers anything and everything you take. So even you don't study for you may not study for the final or for the midterm if you seriously do the project. Yeah. And I think I have my two of my good ex-students. I have Freddy and I have Rana as well. So Rana, you're with me, with us, Rana?
Yes, yeah, doctor.
So tell them about your experience in the project and how it benefited you as يعني in 106.
Your project is very good. I used to all things that I have learned. I used files and classes. It was good. When we finished that, it was beautiful seeing everything we have learned come to action.
Yeah, that's good. And Freddy, can you comment as well?
انا عايز ازود على حاجه ان هو ساعدنا كمان في الكورس ده. يعني هو لولا البروجكت ما كناش عرفنا نعمل حاجات كويسه في الكورس ده، يعني او نفهم اصلا الكورس ده بيقول ايه.
كويس. طيب anyways يعني ده مش لمصلحة. anyways الفاينل the 106 final was actually based on the project that I authored for 106. So whoever يعني did the project with me, يعني actually the final came 50% of the final was based on the project. So who did the project? I think he scored at least in my X sections. They all scored A's. So Freddy scored A, Rana scored A, and in the other section, all my ex-students, because they did very well in the project, they scored A in the course. So I really encourage you to take care of the project. And I want to tell you that it's not something that you can finish in a week, and it's not something that you can finish in 2 weeks. So don't depend that you will start in the spring break. It's not going to work. Yes, I understand that there are topics of the project that we didn't take. However, there are plenty of things that we are about to take or we have taken already. So please start on the project at the time I gave it to you. Please, please, please do this for me and for yourself as well. Okay. Any final question before I start? Okay. So tomorrow I'll send you the Excel sheet, and you will pick the students that that are with you in the project, and however remaining, don't worry, I will manage to locate them in groups. They don't have to worry. It's not their mistake that uh, the university was online, so nobody so nobody was knowing lots of people. Yeah. Anyways, and also actually I have talked to Dr. Sharif, the chairman of the department, about increasing the face-to-face, and actually there's a hope that we can increase the face-to-face lecture. At least he didn't reject the idea. We might be looking for a room at those days for the other section. So he didn't reject the idea so far. So hopefully it will work out and will be more face-to-face together, Bismillah. Okay. Right. Today we'll be taking two things. Today we will be taking two things. We will be talking about vectors, and we will start a very important topic about algorithm analysis and how do we decide if the code is really running in a good time or not, or the algorithm more or less is running in a good time or not. So we'll talk about algorithm analysis, and we will be talking about vectors. So we'll talk basically about vectors. And for vectors, a vector is a data structure. What does it mean, a data structure? It means it is very similar to the array. It's very similar to the array. From where did I get this lecture? This lecture is primarily from online resources. There is no equivalent material in Savage book about vectors. So actually there is, but it's not good explained. Yeah. However, I base my lecture today based on online resources. So basically, what's a vector? A vector is a dynamic array. A vector is a dynamic array. What does it mean, a dynamic array? It's two words, dynamic and array. Array, we know that the array contains some elements, homogeneous elements. Homogeneous means that they are similar to each other. So you have the array of integers, you have the array of floats, you have the array of double, etc. And it is a dynamic array. And what does it mean by dynamic? It means that you can expand it. You can expand it and you can shrink it. You can expand it based on the number of elements that you put into this array, in this vector, and you can shrink it to few elements. So you can have a vector that is 10 elements, and then you remove the 10 elements, they become 8 elements, 5 elements, etc., etc. And you can have as well an empty vector. So you can resize the vectors, and you can access the vectors using something called iterators. You can access and traverse the vector elements. What does it mean, access and traverse vector elements? So if the vector is containing 5 elements and you need to locate the first element in the vector. You can have a function that is called iterator that can locate the first element. And there's a function that can locate the last element. And there's a function that can locate specific elements in the vector. So those are called iterators. And iterator, it comes from the word iteration. So when you do a loop or you can do an iteration, you go throughout the array from the beginning till the end till you find a certain element. So in the vector, you can locate certain element, you can locate the beginning, you can locate the end, etc., etc. So the vector is a standard C++ library. What does it mean, a standard C++ library? It means that it's a part of the C++ language. It's a part of the package. It's part of the language itself. So you include it the same way as you include the IO stream, and you include string, and you include CMAS, etc., etc. So coming to how do we define a vector? So a vector is defined this way, and this syntax reminds us with what topic we took. So someone answers me.
Class templates.
It reminds us of class templates. Yes, it reminds us of class template. And the basic idea of class templates that you can have a vector of integer, and later you can have another vector that is float. You can have a vector of double, you can have a vector of characters, etc., etc. So it is declared the same way as you are declaring a class template. So vector is a template class. It means that a vector can be a vector of integer, a vector can be a vector of double, a vector of float, etc., etc. Okay. By the way, vector, what I am saying today regarding vectors, it is not something that you can memorize. You should memorize. Basically, you have to understand the idea. And when you are doing your project, then if you want a specific function to deal with the vector, so you go to C++.com, you can go for Geeks for Geeks, you can go for lots of websites to explain and to understand what are the functions of the vector are doing. So I'm just giving you some basic information about vectors. I personally don't memorize what vector functions all of them are doing. Nobody memorizes. And even if the exam, if I give you vectors and I give you a function that is called begin, I will tell you what begin do. So it's not. This is something that that you shouldn't memorize. So in vectors, there's a term iterator, and iterator again, it helps you. It's a function. Iterator is a function. So iterator is a function. So iterator is a function. And for iterators, it helps you to access the elements that are stored in a vector. So iterators helps you to store the elements, to access the elements that are stored into the vector. So and elements in the vector, they are accessed the same way. They are accessed the same way like you deal with pointers. And this is something that we will speak about it in a moment. So we have iterators inside in the vector template class. What are the iterators we have? we have begin and C begin. They are somehow different than each other. However, I will not confuse you about the difference between begin and C begin at the moment. I don't care actually for the difference. However, both of them, you can access and point to the first element of the vector. So begin points to the first element of the vector. End points to the end of the vector. So begin points to the beginning of the vector. End points at the end of that vector. What does this mean? Begin points at the first element, end points at the last element. So begin and C begin, end and C end as well. It is preferable from my perspective to use C begin and C end. At the end of the day, both are either point at the first element of the vector or at the last element of the vector. Once again, there are somehow differences between them. However, what's basic is that they point at the first element and the second element and at the last element of the vector. So those are, so Adham, what do you want to say?
يعني
Adham? Yes.
هو begin وend و C begin و C end, they don't modify the values inside the vector. They only point to them, صح؟
They only point to it, yes.
والiterator هو اللي بيمodify؟
Begin and end, you can modify the pointer that is pointing at the vector. Don't worry about this detail. Just use C begin and C end. I'm not interested in really describing the differences at this context. There is no need, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So there are other functions that they look for the capacity aspects of the vector. So we have the size function, and the size function, it really returns the number of elements in the vector. Resize, you can resize the vector, make it bigger or make it smaller. Reserve means, so as you know, I am not explaining each and every function inside the vector, and I mean this. Why? Because when you want to use the vector, you go for C++, and then you use whatever function you use. So I am just concentrating on the general idea of the vector, and because we still have some other stuff that I need really you to concentrate on. So reserve, what does a reserve means? It means that I want a vector with specific number of an exercise that will clarify all such aspects.
Doctor, you're lagging.
Yes, I am lagging now.
Yes,
No, يا
you were
دكتور.
lagging when you were...
لا احنا سامعينه كويس.
Was it just me? Okay.
No, he lagged for like 10 seconds, then he was okay.
Doctor, I have a question.
Yes.
What's the function of the resize function when actually the vectors like resize itself when you push back an element or release one?
it doesn't resize itself. You have to resize it. So Ahmed, here is an example. So be with me in this example to understand, to help me and answer your question as well. So you're with me, yes? Yes.
Yes, I'm with you, Doctor. I'm with you.
Yes, good. So for the vector, so this is basically a vector of what elements?
Integer.
Integer. And G1 is what, and vector is what?
The vector is the main class, and G1 is an object.
Yes. So G1, thank you, Ahmed. So G1 is an object, and it belongs to a vector class, and the vector class is the class of integers. Okay. So we have a function that is called pushback, and this function that is pushback means that I want to push an element inside the vector. So pushback, I want to push an element inside the vector. So Ahmed, this for loop will make the vector looks like what? So
it will push back 5 elements.
5 elements.
From 1 to 4.
Yes, and the vector is similar to the queue. In what sense? In the sense that we push elements from the air. So 1 is the first element, 2 the second element. So I have 1 and 2. 3 is the third element. I have 1, 2, and 3. 4 is the fourth element. 1, 2, 3, 4. And here we go 5. So what is the size of the vector? Yeah, Ahmed?
5.
5. Yes. And potentially, don't worry about the function capacity. It has no use in your context, so you will not use it anyways. Yeah, I know what it means, but I don't want to confuse you. So the maximum size of the vector, and this is very important, the maximum size of the vector is potentially unlimited. What does it mean that it is potentially unlimited? It means that I can allocate elements of the vector based on the free memory that exists in the computer. So it is a dynamic memory. So I allocate elements from the heap. So as far as the heap has some elements, so I basically can allocate elements for the vector. So potentially the vector is unlimited. That's why the max size is the number of zillions and trillions and stuff like this. Okay, then Ahmed, you're with me. So G1 dot resize. So basically, what does it mean? It means that I want to
resize the vector to
instead of 5. Instead of 5, I want to make it
4.
4. Yes. So resize, I want to make it 4. So the new size of the vector will become
4.
4. No big deal. So there's a function that you will use when you're doing the project, assuming that you're doing it with the vectors. Part of it, of course, not everything. So if G1 dot empty, so it goes without saying, it checks what, yeah, Ahmed?
If the vector contains the elements or not.
Yes, if it's empty or not. So basically, it contains 4 elements. Yes?
Yes, doctor.
Yes, okay. And then uh, I will do a function that shrinks the vector to 4 elements. Shrinks the vector means it was containing 5 elements. Now I want to contain it 4 elements, but the memory allocated by the vectors is not freed yet. So shrink to fit is very similar to delete. So I am shrinking the vector in terms of space, in terms of memory allocated. So now I really have allocation in the memory for 4 elements only. And then I loop into the 4 elements and I print them on the screen. I print them on the screen. So, Ahmed, G1.begin, what does it mean?
It refers to the first element in G.
Yes, it refers to the first element in G1, which is a vector. And G1.end, it refers?
The last element.
It refers to the last element. So basically, I loop from the first element to the last element. And since the vector has a pointer, so cout content of IT means print whatever exists inside the vector. We will have one more example.
Doctor?
Yes, yes,
Doctor.
yes.
So what's IT? Is it like standard or was it declared somewhere?
I think it is. I think IT is an integer. Okay, and well, this opens a discussion. You see, Yassine, there's a word here that is called auto. Okay, and this auto. So this auto changes itself based on the data type of the vector. So Yassine, this is a vector of what?
Of integers?
Of integer. So IT will be a pointer to integer. And this auto means that please determine, by the way, for the rest of the class, you don't have to know this, this discussion. It's not that necessary. Auto means that at runtime, we are going to know what is the data type of the vector. And based on it, we will declare the pointer IT to integer or to float or whatever. So auto here makes IT points to an integer. If this vector is a float, so IT is a pointer to a float vector. Okay, a pointer to an element that is a float. If this is a character, so IT is a pointer to a character, and here we go. And this auto wasn't there in earlier compilers of C++. However, in latest compiler, this word auto became available. So auto IT means declare IT as the data type of the vector. So change it based on the data type of the vector. Did you understand, Yassine, the concept? You don't have to do it like this, of course. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Oh. So we have.
Doctor.
Yes.
Well, I have a question. Can you return back to the previous slide? Well, auto IT, instead of doing the auto IT thing, how can it be done to display all the elements in the vector?
You tell me بقى.
يلا,
you tell me.
For a reason. يعني
you tell me. Transform
I'm
it.
not sure.
Can anyone transform this loop into something without an auto?
For int pointer IT equals G1 dot begin.
Between the brackets, I put an I
No,
plus
no, one speak
I
at the
plus
time.
2.
So Yasin was saying, and then Muhammad, if Yasin spoke what you intend to speak, then let me know. So yes, Yasin.
So if
For
IT is a point, so if IT is a pointer, can we say for int pointer IT
yes,
equals G1 dot begin?
yes,
IT
IT
is
not
not
equal. Yeah, that's it. So basically, Yasin, basically,
Also, can you resize function
excuse me,
without pointers?
excuse me.
We can do the same loop without using pointers, like int from 0 to G1 dot size.
Yes, 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 basically, yes. So Adham, you're still with me?
Yes. So I just
Yeah.
write
So,
int IT.
yes, and
Int pointer
point.
IT.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. طب هو G1 برضه dot capacity means the maximum size ولا the size it already has ولا not sure.
Well, capacity means the memory allocated for this vector, not the number of elements that is allocated for this vector. So size means you have a size of 5, but the capacity means the memory allocated for this vector, and
Okay.
you will not use capacity, so remain using the G1 dot size. Okay.
Okay. هو where هنا does it assign values هي push back وبتبعت I am in 1 ل 5 so the
Exactly.
values are gonna be
Yes.
from 1 to 5.
Yes,
Okay. وpush
and
back
we will
can
have
take
and we
can
will
take
have
not
an
just
example
integer.
about. Excuse me, Adham.
It can take anything other than integers صح؟ يعني ممكن strings characters
Yes.
أي حاجة تانية على حسب ما
How
كوبيت
can it
البتاع.
take other than integer يا أدهم؟
نكتب بدل ما بين الاوبريتورز int نكتب char او string او كده
ممتاز.
اللي هو في declaration.
Yeah, this is what I want you to come out of this lecture, to know how to declare a vector and to know how to use some function in the vectors, not all of the function. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So
Doctor,
we will.
I have a question too.
Yes.
What happens if we like instead of saying resize to 4 elements, we type resize to 10 elements? What happens to the rest of the 5 elements that we didn't
Still
push
exist? Still exist.
So they're like will be like a default 0, or they will be
No. You have 5 elements, and then you increase the size, and then you push the 6th element. So it will be after the 5. The 7th will be after the 6th.
I'm not talking about pushing new elements. I'm talking about resizing the vector to be more than the current size, and then referring to like the 6th element or something. So what will the output be? Will it be like non-existing or 0, or what will
Null,
it be?
probably.
Yes, Yasin, you want to say something?
I said I think it will be null.
Yes, it will be null or anything. يعني, so basically it can be null or it can be anything, just anything. Okay.
So, doctor, I have a question, please.
Yes, sure.
If we have 5 elements and we resize it so that it's 4 elements, does that
Yes.
delete the 5th element?
Yes, it deletes the 5th element. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and it delete also from the rear, Yasin. Not similar to the queue. The queue you put you dequeue from the front. Here you enqueue you input something to the vector from the rear, and you delete from the rear as well.
يعني which number دلوقتي من 1 to 5 is going to be deleted?
The 5. So it will be 4.
عادي يعني. Okay.
Yes.
طب دكتور
اوكي
لو ما عملتش shrink to fit دي مش هيعمل delete صح؟
لو ما عملتش شينك تو فيت مش هيفضي الميموري، فلازم تعمل شينك تو فيت يعني.
اوكي تمام.
هو دكتور shrink to fit دي related للكاباسيتي صح؟ مش السايز.
related للكاباسيتي صح. Ahmed, you were
دكتور
having a
هو
profile picture, yes? And then you delete it.
I guess because I re-signed in to the Zoom. I
Okay.
re-uploaded.
Okay. So it's related للكاباسيتي, yes, yeah.
Doctor, when we come to resize مثلا في آخر البروجرام we want to free the memory خالص we resize to 0 and then shrink to fit.
No, you have to use a function here, يا أدهم, called clear. Clear vanishes the vector. So if we want يا أدهم to vanishes يعني خلاص بتضم
هو بيعلق عندي بس يا جماعة.
لا لا عند كله الدكتور
clear.
فروزن.
لا الدكتور لا.
We can't hear you, doctor.
دكتور we can't hear you.
يا جماعة.
تمام يا
Yes.
دكتور.
Okay. So I was saying a vector is a static array or a dynamic array?
Dynamic.
More
Dynamic
like
array.
dynamic array.
Dynamic array. ممتاز. So clear is very similar to what?
delete.
Delete pointer.
Delete. Exactly. Delete. And where do we put the delete?
At the end of the program.
Not necessarily.
Destructor.
Add the destructor. Add the destructor. Okay. Okay. So clear is very similar to delete, and we put it in the destructor usually in the class. Anyways, we have pushback. We have pushback, and this pushes back an element on the back of the vector. We have insert, so I can insert an element in the vector in a specified location. Bob back, I removed vector elements from the back. Erase, I erase certain range of elements inside the vector. Clear, as I said, it vanishes the vector. Once again, nobody memorizes those functions. You got to use them when you want to use them. So,
Doctor, I have a question.
yes.
What's the difference between اللي هو pop back واللي هو ان احنا resize الفيكتور لعدد elements اقل؟
You have to resize and you have to change to fit. So it's the same as resize and change to fit.
يعني
You can
pop
do
back
it different way.
بتصغر الكاباسيتي والelement تشيل الelement.
Exactly.
طب
ممتاز يا
دكتور هو pop back دي removes a specific element from the vector even if it's like in the middle يعني مثلا if we entered 1 to 5 can I remove?
No يا أدهم. Remove the vector elements from the back. يعني من آخر الفيكتور. Okay.
يعني 5.
Yes.
طب if I want to remove 3 اعمل ايه؟
So you use erase.
ولا Erase.
Remove the
From a
ranges of
specified
elements
location.
from a
Okay.
specified location.
Okay, go.
Oh, once again, I am giving you a flavor about the vector. If you want to use vectors in your projects, then I will not give you an assignment on vectors. So if you want to use them on your project, so you have to read about the functions and then use whatever function you want to use. However, the most common function is cBegin, cEnd, size, and of course clear as well, and push back because it's insert an element into the vector. Okay, so those are the most common function, but there are lots of functions, of course, in the vector, iterators and modifiers as well. Okay, so let's go back, let's go forward to one of the most important topics, and this topic will, that's why I was a little bit fast in the vectors, because I want to spend some time with you on this topic, and and it is very important topic that will remain till the end of the course. So what is this topic about? It is about algorithm analysis, and it is basically, and now I will be slow after I was fast a little bit. So algorithm analysis is analyzing the algorithms to know whether they are performing good or they are performing bad, whether they are performing good or they are performing bad. And what's an algorithm? An algorithm can be one function inside the class, or it can be a set of functions that will do certain functionality. So the algorithm has what's so called a time complexity. What's so called a time complexity. And this time complexity determines if it is an efficient algorithm, or it determines if it is not an efficient algorithm. So based on measuring a time complexity, you will know how many steps does this algorithm this algorithm takes to perform a specific task, to perform a specific task, to perform a specific task. So I will give you an example, and then I will explain the details of what I am saying. So if I have, this is a function, I am writing any C++ code, don't worry about this. So I am having a function, and this function is searching for an element inside the array. So what is the purpose of this function? What is the purpose of this algorithm? The purpose of this algorithm is to search for an element inside an array. So very simple, if target equal a of I, this is the name of the array, then let's say found equal to, otherwise found is equal to false. So assuming that the array contains nine elements. So someone tells me how many steps does this algorithm take to search for the element 9 inside the array? How many steps?
9 is okay.
9 at the
Well,
worst
if you
case.
have,
9.
yeah,
Yes. And assuming that this this array will contain 100 elements, and I want to search for the element number for the element 100 inside this array. So how many steps does this algorithm take?
100.
100.
100.
100. That's perfect. So what it have 1 million, so it will take 1 million. So so this algorithm is, from your perspective, an efficient algorithm or not efficient algorithm, and why? You can write in the chat, and you can write in the chat. You can write in the chat. And if it is not efficient algorithm, why it's not efficient from your perspective? And whoever gets it, I will give him or her a two bonus. So Ghada, yes, it's not efficient. Why? Yes. Yes. So for okay. Okay. So Ghada, it's not efficient. Yes, it's not efficient. It takes a lot of work. No, yes, it takes a lot of work, but why? No, not efficient because it takes too many steps. Yes, but again, it's not efficient is right, but it's not very accurate. It takes too many steps. Yasin, inefficient because at the worst case scenario, it has to go through every element. So Yasin got 2 bonuses. So Muhammad Hashish, not efficient that it takes lots of time to perform all the steps. You take 1 bonus, Hashish, you're near. Mustafa Zidan, not efficient as it takes too many steps. Not really. Yes, it takes too many steps, but why? Ikram, not efficient because it takes too many slots from the memory. You take 1 bonus, Ikram. Freddy, not efficient because it will spend lots of time searching for a target. You take 1 bonus also. Ali, no, not bonus. Tamer, not efficient for big data sets. You take 1 bonus, Tamer, also. Adham, Adham, you take 2 bonuses because it goes step by step, checking for the value. Okay. Yes, Adham, that's fine. Ahmed Mustafa, not efficient because there can be more efficient ways to search. You take 2 bonuses, Ahmed Mustafa. Freddy, you take 2 bonuses as well. Muhammad Faghali, I didn't pass you, but anyways, you can say what you want to say, what you wanted originally to say. Ahmed, Muhammad Faghali. Maybe he disconnected. But do you hear my voice or I am?
Yes, doctor. Maybe we can. Someone can read it
لا
for you.
دكتور I was typing بس I was typing I can hear you.
Yes. Yes, I forgot the loop. There's a loop here. There's a loop, but I forgot to write. Yeah. Anyways, right. It is not an efficient algorithm. It is not an efficient algorithm. It's not an efficient algorithm. And why it's not an efficient algorithm? Because if I am searching in million elements, it will go for every element and ask it, are you a target or you are not a target? Are you a target or you are not a target? Are you a target or you're not a target? So I go to every element and ask every element, are you a target? No, I'm not a target. Till it goes to the last element, are you a target? Yes, I'm a target. So the time complexity increase, the time complexity increase as far as we increase what?
The size?
The range of values in the like array or
The range of values as far as we change the array size. So the array size, if it contains 10 elements, so it takes 10 steps. If it contains 100 elements, it contains 100 steps. If it contains n elements, how much time does it take? If I have n elements, excuse me?
N steps, it will take n steps.
It will take n steps. So the order, so this function that is called search, the time complexity, which is order of the function that is called search, equal order of what?
The number of elements?
The number of elements. And if the number of elements is n, so it is order
of n?
Of n. So what does it mean, order of n? It means at the worst case, it takes the function that is called search, it takes n steps to perform the search for a target inside the array. يعني بالعربي انا عندي function اسمها search بتاخد n steps عشان تلاقي الاليمنت اللي انا بدور عليه. ده هي الورست كيس سيناريو. طبعا في best case scenario. البيست كيس سيناريو is the element is the first element. طيب يبقى I repeat back. So order of n means that this function takes n steps to perform the search for the target inside an array of size n. Please, 10 seconds, watch what I have written here, and if you don't understand, let me know. Okay, that's fine.
So the whole function is the same as the search function of yani moving yani step by step?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the search function, Adham. What I
Yeah,
have
the one
written
we
here.
made in the beginning. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So this is very similar in mathematics. You have f of n equal n. What does this mean in mathematics?
X equals Y.
Excuse me?
Input equals output.
Yes. So if the input increases, the output
increases.
It's linear.
It increases. If the input increases, the output increases linearly. If the input increases, the output increases linearly. So if f of n equal 1, what does it mean?
It's constant.
It's constant. What does it mean?
It has one value, like it doesn't depend on the input.
It
Yeah,
doesn't depend on the input. Thank you, Ikram. You get a bonus. So it doesn't depend on the input. So no matter how large the input will be, so I will take only one step to perform this function. I will take only one step to perform this function. What if it is like this? This is n squared, not 2n. This is n squared. What does it mean in mathematics?
It is quadratic, like it creates a
It
curve.
is quadratic function. So if the input is n, the output is n squared. So if we increase the input, so the output will increase in a quadratic way. So this means that I measure the time complexity by order of n, and it can be 1, it can be n, it can be n squared, it can be n cubed, it can be log n, and we will explain what log n in a moment. It can be n to the power of 4, it can be n factorial, etc. So if it doesn't depend by the input, which is n, so this means that it is a very good algorithm. This means that it is a very good algorithm. It really doesn't
Doctor, I
depend
didn't
on the input.
understand.
Excuse me?
I didn't understand.
What you don't understand?
I didn't understand the on function بصراحة، يعني أنا قلت هفهمها ممكن
On؟
مع ال explanation بس لا ما فهمتش.
ايه ال on؟
اللي هي O between brackets and the function that takes n steps to perform the search.
Okay. This function will take how many steps to search for a target? اللي هي تحت. This function.
Depending on the number of arrays, the size of the array.
Depends on the size of the array. So if the size of array is 100, so it will take how many steps?
100.
100. So the order, so the time complexity, O, it means big O, ya Muhammad. And it means that this is a time complexity. So what is the time complexity of this algorithm?
9.
This is 9 steps. What if this, if we have an array of n elements? So it will be, instead of 9, it will be?
O of n.
N.
Order of n. That's it. So I will give you some other example for other variations of this. So basically, what's order of n, ya Muhammad, now? Order of n means that I have a time complexity of n, time complexity of n. And what does it mean? It means that whenever I increase the input size to n, then I will take n number of steps to perform what I need to perform. Okay?
تمام يا دكتور.
Okay.
So doctor, what about the F you put in the previous explanation? The F and between brackets and so.
Well,
Is it supposed
I
to
was
be
just
always
trying to make similarities, يعني Fn as if it's order of n, يعني.
بس هي لازم تكون دايما O صح؟ اللي هي
لازم
قبل
دايما. في حاجات
تمام.
تانية غير ال O يعني. بس O means it is the worst case function, the worst case time complexity. يعني أسوأ حاجة ممكن تحصل يعني. Okay? ليه أسوأ حاجة ممكن تحصل؟ مش أنت ممكن تلاقي الإيليمنت أول واحد؟ ده البيست كيس. ايه اسوأ كيس؟ انك تلاقي الاليمنت هو اخر واحد. فلو انا عندي array of n elements يبقى الاوردر بتاعها بقى كام؟ لو انا بسيرش واحد
100.
اوكي لو انا عندي الاري اوف n elements يبقى الاوردر بتاعها بقى كام لو انا بسيرش واحد واحد؟
N.
بالظبط. That's it.
تمام.
اوكي طيب to explain to you about the good big O and the bad big O. Someone tells me what are the good big O and what are the bad big O and why. So I'll pick one of you. So I'll pick Rana. Rana?
Yes, doctor.
Yes.
I don't know. I had a disconnection the previous 5 minutes, so I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. So I'll pick someone else. So Mustafa Zidane, since you are an economist.
Yes, doctor.
Yes. So what's good, order of 1 or order of n squared?
N squared.
n squared is better than order of 1?
لا انا معلش يا دكتور لا 1 is the most يعني fastest. انا مش فاهم السؤال قوي بس يعني
okay. What is the fastest, order of n or order of n squared?
n.
طيب as far as I remember when I took economics, but anyways, so order of n means if I have 100 elements, I take, let's say, 100 number of operation. But if I take 100 elements and the order of the algorithm, the big O of the algorithm is n square, so I will take not 100, I will take
10,000.
maybe 1,000. So
if it's squared, it's 10,000.
Yes, exactly. So I will take 10,000. Okay. So order of n square is very bad. That's why it is in the red area. Why is it in the red area? Because the algorithm will be very bad. Why? Because it's very bad. Because if I increase the number of elements, the number of operation will increase exponentially. يعني لو انا عندي 100 element عايز اعمل عليهم الالجوريزم ده هياخد exponential، هياخد n square، فهيبقى 100 to the power of 2. لو انا عندي حاجه بتاخد 2 to the power of n، this algorithm order of 2 to the power of n and n is 100, then the number of steps this algorithm will take is order of 2 to the power of 100. So the best thing is order of 1. Whenever I increase n, the number of elements, it is constant. Then after order of 1, I have order of log n to the base of 2 or log base 2 of n. We will describe it now. Then after this, we have order of n. And then after this, we have order of n log n. Still, I am in the yellow. The algorithm is not so bad. If the algorithm is n square, n cube, 2 to the power of n factorial, then the algorithm is very bad. And if you have an algorithm like this one, then this means that it is a terrible algorithm. Yes, Yasin.
Doctor, is it always calculated based on the worst case scenario or the average?
Well, there are multiple ways to calculate it, Yasin. There are what's called a worst case scenario, and there's a best case scenario, and there's an average case scenario. And there are different notations for the calculation of each scenario based on big O and theta I don't know the symbol for the average, etc. Yeah. So there are different ways. Sometimes in this course also, we care about the best case scenario. However, mostly we are caring about the worst case scenario. Like in computer science, there's the best case scenario, there's the worst case scenario, and there's an average case scenario. And probably I will send all of you a link to know the different orders that we have: best case, average case, and worst case as well. Yeah, but I think in senior year or in junior year, you will take the other cases like the average and the best case as well. Here in this course, we will deal also with the best case scenario as well. However, we will note it as big O as well. It's okay?
Okay, thank you.
So doctor, just to make sure I understand, the big O is the worst case scenario, right?
Worst case, yes.
Thank you.
Oh. Okay, so here is a very good table. Here is a very good table about how serious it is when you have an algorithm that runs in order of n square or order of n cube compared to order of log base 2n. So if we look at this part, we can see that n n ranges from 1 to 1000. And if you have an algorithm that its time complexity order of n, so this means that if n is 1000, this means that it will take approximately 1000 steps because it's order of n. If it is order of log n, so if we have n an array of 1000, so if the algorithm is order of log n, it will take only 10 steps to do the job it is intending to do. If it is n, it will take 1000 steps. If it is n log n, 10,000. If it is n square, it's 1 million. If it is n cube, so this very big number. So the good algorithms, they are the algorithms that run within order of 1, of course, and order of log n, and order of log n. N is quite bad. N square and n cube is very bad. N log n is quite bad as well, quite very bad. Okay. So let's explain what is order of log n to the base of 2. Log n to the base of 2. Before explanation of this part, I will introduce you something that will take approximately 5 or 6 lectures, and we will take it in very in-depth details. We will take it in very in-depth details. This is called the tree data structure. This is called the tree data structure. And the tree data structure is basically something that is very similar to the array. However, it is structured differently. And how is it structured? It is structured that the tree has once again, we will repeat this again and again and again, but it's good to take it from now, and then we will explain it again and again later. We will have 5 or 6 or 7 lectures dealing with different types of trees. So the tree has a root, and then it has a right child and it has a left child. It has a right child and it has a left child. So usually the right child has an element that is bigger than the root of this tree, and the left child is an element that is smaller than the root of the tree. So 8, this is the root of the tree, 12 is bigger than 8, and 4 is less than 8. Here 14 is bigger, so 12 is the root, so 14 is bigger than 12, and 10 is less than 12. 6 is bigger than 4, and 2 is less than 4. 3 is bigger than 2, and 1 is less than 2. 7 is greater than 6, and 5 is less than 6. وهكذا. So this is called a tree. And it is said that searching in the tree is very efficient compared for searching inside the array. And why it is efficient? First, it takes order of log n to the base of 2. And we will understand what's order of log n to the base of 2 in a moment. However, let's see how do we search inside the tree. So searching inside the tree is like simply this algorithm. So if the element that you are trying to search is bigger than the root, so element is bigger than the root, go to the right. Otherwise, go to the left. Okay, so I will have one good volunteer with me. So I'll have Freddy. Okay, Freddy. Freddy, you're with me?
Yes, Doctor.
Yes, Freddy. So assuming I want to search for 11, what do I do, Freddy?
11?
I want to search, I have a tree. I have a tree, so the data structure of a tree is similar to the array. And I want to use this algorithm that I just explained to search for 13 or for 11, it doesn't matter. So how do I start to, and then how do I find the 13 and the 13, for example?
أول هشوف الروت بتاع التري، وبعد كده هشوف هو
which is 8.
which is 8 اهو. هشوف هو bigger than أو less than. ولو هو bigger than هروح للpointing to the right side يعني.
Exactly. So 13 is bigger than 8, yes?
Yes.
Yes. So I will go to the 12. 13 is bigger than 12, yes?
Yes.
So I will go to 14. Are you 13? No, I am not 13. So 13 is 13 is less than 14 or not less than 14?
Less than 14, فهgo to the left.
So I go to the left. Then I will find 13. So I will repeat. I am looking to 13. I am looking to the element that I am looking to the element that is 13 inside this tree. So what do I do? If I am having an array, so I go to each and every element. Are you 13? No, I am not 13. Are you 13? No, I'm not 13. If I am implementing a tree search, so I go and I ask myself, 13, are you bigger than 8? Yes, I am bigger than 8. So I go to the right. 13, are you bigger than 12? Yes, I am bigger than 12. So go to the right. 14, are you bigger than 12? Than 13? Yes, I am bigger than 13. 13, 13, are you bigger than 14? No, I am not bigger than 14. Go to the left. Then I will find the 13. Then I will find the 13. طيب what I care here actually, and this question is for Freddy also. How many steps did I take to search for an element inside this tree? How many steps?
4 تقريبا.
3. 1 step, 2 steps, 3.
تمام.
Okay. How many steps do I take? Up to how many steps do I take to search in an array? If the array is 15 elements.
15.
15. The worst case scenario. And here, how many steps do I take to search in the tree?
3.
3. Yes. So for everyone searching inside the array using the for loop, is it better or searching inside an array data structure using this search algorithm that I have described? So tree is better or array is better? Searching in a tree or searching in an array? Tree. Tree. Anyone doesn't understand why searching in a tree is better than searching inside an array using this search algorithm? Anyone doesn't understand? So I repeat.
I have a question بسرعة يا دكتور.
Yes.
هي بتفرق في السيرش algorithm ولا يعني اللي هو الاري او التري؟ يعني احنا ممكن نسيرش في الاري بس بطريقة تانية عن اللوب فتاخد اقل من O of N ولا ايه؟
لا، انت لازم تعمل داتا ستراكشر، مش array، لازم تعملها تري. خلاص؟ ليه التري احسن؟ كل مره بعمل فيها سيرش بقسم الدنيا اسمين، اسم على اليمين واسم على الشمال، بهمل الحته اللي على الشمال، يعني بديفايد على 2 بديفايد على 2 بديفايد على 2، فعشان كده هي بتاخد ستيبس اقل يعني.
اوكي.
يا جماعه. Yes.
Is there like a restriction on the maximum number or like the maximum number the sub tree or the sub branch should be greater than the element؟ يعني
لا I don't understand what you're saying.
يعني الثمانية دي يعني لازم تبقى 4 و12، ما ينفعش تبقى 4 و13 مثلا؟
لا، يعني التري لازم يبقى فيه left child و right child، يعني ليها ابنين، واحد على اليمين وواحد على الشمال.
ايوه انا قصدي على اليمين ده لازم يكونوا هما الاثنين نفس الديستانس، يعني ما ينفعش يبقى الثمانية تحتها 4 والناحية الثانية 13 مش 12.
لا ينفع اي حاجة اكبر من الثمانية.
طيب اوكي، طب لو احنا دلوقتي سويتشد مثلا ال7 وال9 اللي هم تحت خالص دول في الاخر، وجيت طبقت السيرش دي مثلا عشان اسيرش على 9 مش هلاقيها.
لا ازاي؟ مش فاهم.
يعني
دلوقتي
لو انا حضرتك شايف ال7 وال9 اللي تحت خالص دول اللي هم تحت ال8. لو انا دلوقتي عملت لهم بدلتهم مكان بعض، ال7 اصغر من
لا
التاني
ما ينفعش
ولا
يا حبيبي، ما ينفعش تبدل اساسا. يعني انت بتنسرت في التري باوردر معين، مش بتنسرت هبهزرد يعني انت اول حاجه بتنسرت في التري 8. خلاص، ال 12 اكبر من ال8 ولا اقل من ال8؟
اكبر.
يعني انا دلوقتي بانسرت التري فاضيه، بس ده هنشرحه ان ديتيلز بعد كده. ال 12 اكبر من ال8 ولا اقل من ال8؟ اكبر. يبقى هتروح على اليمين. بعد كده عايزه انسرت 4، هي اكبر من 8 ولا اصغر من 8؟
اصغر.
يبقى هتروح على الشمال. عايزه انسرت 2، هل هي اصغر من 4 ولا هي اكبر من 4؟
اصغر. يعني it's related للطريقه اللي انا بفيل بيها التري in the first place يعني.
Exactly.
اوكي تمام ماشي.
Okay. Who else want to ask?
Doctor, I have a question.
Yes.
What if it wasn't 15, it was like an even number? How would we divide the tree into two equal halves? ولا مش لازم divide it into two equal halves أصلا؟
مش لازم يبقوا equal halves.
يعني ممكن يبقوا 14 وبرضه يبقى نفس المنظر ده ونشيل بس ال 15 اللي بعد ال 14 صح؟
Exactly. Yes, yes.
Okay, got it.
Who else has a question? And then I will explain one small thing and then you go. Right. All what I want to understand you to understand is not how to insert in the tree, how to search in the tree. This is a lecture by itself. But alhamdulillah, I begin this lecture from now. Yeah. What I need you to understand that if you use a different data structure and you use a different search algorithm, this will be leading to an efficient time complexity. مرة تانية, if you change a data structure to something else and you use a different algorithm for searching, this will make your searching faster. This will make your searching faster. And this will bring us to the beginning of this course. When I tell you, when I showed you this Pac-Man game, and it searches for the opponent in a very fast time. Why? Because it searches into something like a tree. It searches into something like a tree. So if you search in the array one by one, it will take hell of time. If you make a search algorithm to search for something inside the tree, it will take very efficient time. It will take very efficient time. So one final thing, what is log n to the base of 2 unless you didn't take it in mathematics? So 2 to the power 2 to the power of 0 is equal to 1. 2 to the power of 1 is equal to 2. 2 to the power of 2 is equal to 3. 2 to the power of 3 is equal to 8. What is log n to the base of 2? Assuming that n is equal to 8, then log to the base of 2 of 8 will be equal to 3. So this how this aspect is related to this tree having order of log n to the base of 2. This tree contains 15 elements. This tree contains 15 elements. So we said we want to search for 11. It will take 3 steps. To search for 13, it will take 13 steps, 3 steps. To search for 15, 3 steps. To search for 7, 3 steps. So then the number of steps it will take as a worst case to search for the element, so it will be order of log n to the base of 2. So if this tree contains 15 elements, so order of log n to the base of 2 will be equal to 3. What does it mean will be equal to 3? So it means that that I will take 3 steps. What if this tree is equal to 64? How many steps will I take to search for the element? If this tree is 64, so order of log base 2 to 64. How much is it? Log
6.
Yes, 6. Exactly. So one small exercise and I will finish, but I have to switch off the share because I want to change the slide.
دكتور هو كده اللعبة هيبقى 8:15.
Yeah, I will make it 7:15. Don't worry.
7:15 قصدي صح.
Yes.
Okay.
You don't see the PowerPoint, yes?
Yes.
Yes, يا
We
دكتور.
only see the file explorer.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, I will give you a small exercise and please answer in the chat in private. So what is the complexity of those three functions. So the first function, the second function, and the third function with respect to what is the time complexity for the first one, the second one, and the third one. So please write in the chat. Whoever will get them will take 2 bonuses. Yasin, that's right. Ahmad Mustafa, you answered 2, not 3.
دكتور معلش عشان بس I got confused يعني how should my answer يعني اكتبها ازاي؟
You will say it's order of 1 or order of n square, n cube, n to the power 4. Yes.
دكتور حضرتك ممكن تريبيت الكويستشن تاني؟
So the question is for those 3 functions. يا غادة, this is the first one, this is the second one, and this is the third one. What is the time complexity, which is O? O of this function is O of what? This function is O of what? And this function is O of what? So Ali, you answer the second as right, only the second. But what is the first and what is the third?
I'm doing it دلوقتي.
Ikram,
search
Ikram, not fully right. By the way, there is no order of 8. So it's either 1, n square, log n, n cube, n whatever. So it's always a function of n. Freddy, yes. Yes, that's right. What is the third one? So Mustafa Zidan, can you answer back? Ghada, the first one, yes, that's right. Yallah, continue. Mustafa, the first and second is right. Mustafa Zidan, I mean. Abdurrahman, yes, you're right. Yallah. Muntasir, yes. No, the third one is not right. Ana Saleh, the third one is not right. Tamer, you're right. Mustafa, no, Mustafa Zidan. Adham, both are wrong. Ikram, yes, now you're right. Yusuf Rahib, the first and second is right, the third is not right. Hashish, right. Ali Salim, no, number 3 is not right. Yalla, continue answer.
Doctor, should it be like the same notation of f of n equals n, for example? Well, I want
order of something. For the first question.
Yeah? Equals حاجة ولا order of something بس?
لا, order of something. So look at this. Look at this table. So it can be order of 1 log n, n log n, n square or n cube. So write those algorithms in terms of those this table that I showed you. So I'll pick the chat again.
دكتور انا اخر واحده بعتها يعني wrong معلش بص عليها.
طب ماشي اوكي.
دكتور ممكن تشوف تاني واحده بتاعتي؟
Yeah, it's right يا غاد.
The second one.
I will answer so you can see if it's right or wrong. Ahmad Mustafa, yes, it's right. Adham, you're wrong again. Not your day, Adham. Muhammad, you're wrong. Okay, I'll answer. So the first one, how many steps does it take?
One step.
One step. The second one, how many steps does it take? Anything that is that is dependent on the size of n is order of n. So if this n is equal to 10, it will take 10 steps. This for loop will take 10 steps. If this n is 20, so it will take 20 steps. So this algorithm is order of n. So if n increases, then the number of steps increases. So this algorithm is order of n. This algorithm contains how many loops inside each other?
This third one or any one?
The third one. How many loops inside each other?
Two.
So it is basically n times n, which is n squared.
N to the power
How
of
did
2.
I get n squared? So for each element, this is the outer loop. This is the outer loop, and this is the inner loop. For each element in the outer loop, I take n steps. So for n steps, so it is n steps times n steps. So it is n
Doctor,
squared. Yes.
The second for loop isn't inside the first full loop. It's after it. صح?
No,
Because
it's
I think the doctor means the second for loop and the one inside it.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Doctor, so
حضرتك said in the for loop اللي هي the second
yes.
rectangle
Sorry. I'm
is
sorry.
inside.
I'm sorry. So this for loop, what is the complexity of it?
O of size.
O of size, which is O of
M.
N.
N.
N. Good. And this for loop, what is the complexity of it?
O of n squared.
O of n squared. How did we get O of n squared? Because
n.
I have an inner loop and this is an outer loop. So the time complexity for the algorithm, how much it will be in the worst case, n square or n?
Doctor, doesn't it have to go through the first set of for loops and then the second one as well?
That's fine. So let's say it will go for the first loop. So what is the complexity for the first loop, يا تامر?
نعم doctor.
What is the complexity for the first loop?
O of n.
O of n. طيب خلاص. What is the complexity for the second loop?
O of n squared.
O of n squared. That's fine. What is the worst case scenario? N square or n? ايه اوحش حاجة؟
I feel like ان هو هياخد O of n and then O of n squared. تقريبا
حلوة
تبقى n.
قوي. مين اوحش؟ n ولا n squared؟
n squared.
n squared. So the overall complexity will be the worst case complexity, which is what يا تامر؟
n squared.
n squared. طيب تاني يا جماعة. This for loop is n. It will take n steps. This for loop, it will take n and times n. يعني ايه الكلام دوت؟ For I equal 0, I less than size, I plus plus. I, j equal 0, j less than size. So for I equal 0, it will take size. For I equal 1, it will take size. For I equal size, it will take size times size, which is size squared. That's why it is n squared. Why is it n squared? Because if the size increases, then the number of operation will be n squared. So if the size is 3, this algorithm will take 9 steps as the worst case. If this if the size is 100, this algorithm will take 100 times 100. If this algorithm is has a size as million, so it will take it will take million times million وهكذا. Anybody doesn't understand? If anybody doesn't understand, then let me repeat.
I understand the part that as the input increases, the output increases as well. But why
Yes.
don't we have it O of n plus n squared? Since the
O of
algorithm
n.
has to go through two
So,
steps.
what is the definition of O? Is it the worst case or the best case?
The worst.
Okay. What is the worst in this algorithm? So it has order of n and order of n squared. So what is the worst case?
N squared.
N squared. That's why it is in the order of n squared in the worst case. So what is the
Okay.
best case? What is the best case?
O of n.
Why?
يعني هو the best case إن هي ممكن تبقى O of
If
1
size
يعني.
is equal, if size is equal to 0, how many steps will it take?
0.
0, which is order of 1. It's constant. So the best case if the array is empty, which is a realistic case, of course.
Okay.
What if the array contains one element? It will take how many steps?
1.
1. What if the array contains n elements? How many steps will it take?
N.
N squared.
N squared.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Doctor,
So, yes, Adam.
yani the first one is O of the first one لا مش اللوبس أنا بتكلم عن the codes.
Yes.
The
How
first
many
one,
statements?
it's only one statement.
One statement. Even if there are 10 statements, even if there are 10 statements, as far as it is not dependent on the input size, it will be order of 1. يعني ايه الكلام اللي انا بقوله؟
يعني
if you have just wait. If you have a function and this function is called my function and it doesn't take any input. So and it is all of C out. What is the time complexity for it?
Will it be 1?
Yes, it's 1. Why it's 1, Yad?
Because it doesn't depend on any input.
It doesn't depend on any input, so it's order of 1. Okay. Anyone, ya jama'a, doesn't understand what's time complexity?
And the second one is O of n?
The second one is O of n. The third one is, in the worst case, O of n squared.
I think, Doctor, that was my answer اللي أنا بعتها لك.
طب أنا آسف ما شفتهاش، معلش يا آدم.
رايك قلت لي غلط في المرتين.
معلش أنا آسف ما أخدتش بالي. Okay. طيب يا جماعة, see you إن شاء الله on Thursday. I will send you the Excel sheet for the groups. If you have any question, I will remain on the chat. Otherwise, thank you very much and have a very blessed night. I will delay the lab till 7:15, inshallah.
Bye, doctor. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank you, doctor.
Doctor, so if we have a million C outs, then it's still O of 1?
Yes, because it's not dependent on the input size, Yasin. It's basically statements that order of 1 plus order of 1 plus order of 1 plus order of 1 is order of 1.
Okay. فمعلش عندي سؤال تاني.
And order of n plus order of n square is definitely order of n square. Yes.
Okay. If we have if we have the same data structure, the time complexity can change depending on the task we're doing. يعني مثلا if we want to insert something or remove something or search for something, does that change the time complexity?
Yes. So
okay.
So it will be having a best case, which is, let's say, order of 1, and a worst case, which is order of log n. However, what do we care about is the best case or the worst case?
Worst case.
Yes, because يعني, there are some other cases, but the most realistic one is, in my opinion, يعني, is the worst case scenario because basically it's measuring يعني the real performance of the algorithm. So if you go to Google Map, for example, and if you perform a search for the address that is in the United States, for example, it will give it to you the same as you search for a location in Tajammu. So it's consistent in the worst case, in its worst case, yeah. So if the worst case is very efficient, so this means that this is يعني a very good algorithm, yeah.
Okay, thank you, doctor.
Yeah.
Have a good day. Bye.
دكتور عندي سؤال.
اتفضل يا مستر.
احنا سؤالين في الحقيقه. هو يعني في الاول احنا وصلنا انها n plus